break to make them movies, I be loaded. Why you out here drinking 40s, I just told it. Still that same, in a foreign, but it's stolen. Ryan sporty, acting sporty, can't control it.
Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Smequle, and in today's video, we're going to be finding out what would actually happen if the NBA completely restarted today and every player actually ended up retiring and new players came into the league, and it's just a completely new NBA. So as you can see here, I removed everybody from every single roster, and NBA 2K automatically regenerated new players. So as you can see on my screen, every team has a bunch of like 59, 60 overall players. It's all randomly generated, so different teams have different sets of players. And it looks like the 76ers have the highest rated team with a 66 overall, and it kind of goes down to a 55 as we get to the Wizards. So we're going to see what actually ends up happening. We're going to simulate a few seasons with these new rosters, and it's pretty much like the NBA restarting. There's no really good players yet. Nobody knows anybody in the league, but we're going to simulate one season first, and we're going to find out what ends up happening, see who makes the playoffs after this first season, check out all the stats and stuff like that. Anyways guys, I will see you at the end of this season, and I think I'm just going to turn off injuries. Alright guys, so we came to the end of the first season, and our MVP is going to be on the Cavaliers, getting 14.4 points a game, 13.4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He's also the Rookie of the Year. Sixth Man of the Year is right here, getting 13.6 boards per game. Defensive Player is going to be on the Raptors. Sixth Man was on the Bucks. And Most Improved Player is the Raptors player as well, and he actually has 15.7 boards a game. And then our Coach of the Year is going to go to the Memphis Grizzlies, going 67 and 15. So you can check out the all NBA rosters, which team everybody is on. Obviously we don't know any of them because they're all new players since the NBA just started. This was their first season, and you can just check out everybody that made it. But let's just check out the standings, see how each team did and each conference. So the Hawks are at the top of the East, and then at the bottom are going to be the Toronto Raptors. They're actually the worst team. That's unfortunate for me. I was hoping maybe the Raptors would be a bit better. And then over in the West, it's the Grizzlies up on top, and the Pelicans are the worst team. Warriors and Spurs no longer have a really good team anymore. So we're going to find out who is actually going to win this now. League leaders, most points per game is going to be 17.5 for a 59 overall. Still the highest player is probably going to be around a 66. Players not getting too good after the first season. So we're just going to simulate the playoffs here and then simulate yet another season. See who ends up winning the first playoffs, and then hopefully people will be a bit better in next year's playoffs. Just simulate all that, keep clicking OK, and here we come into the finals here, and it is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies winning the playoffs, and the finals MVP is going to be Tyrone Gooden, 61 overall, and he actually didn't start in any of the games. He was a backup, 7'1", and it looks like he is a center. And how many rebounds was he getting per game? He 7.4 rebounds, assists. He didn't get any. He really didn't do too good. He had a few points per game. But we're going to move on to the next season and see if anybody gets a bit better and if there's going to be any star players. Okay, so we made it to the end of the second season. We got a new MVP, Dion Foster. He's also the Rookie of the Year, so he actually did come in from the NBA draft. These aren't actual players, these are just randomly generated players. Lucas Howard is a sixth man, Earl Kane defensive, Cole Justice most improved, and Brett Brown gets Coach of the Year. So we're going to simulate this again. The all NBA teams don't really matter too much. We don't know too much about anybody on here, so we're just going to advance and check out these standings yet again. So in the division, or in the conference standings, Philadelphia 76ers at the top of the East, and at the bottom this year is going to be the Brooklyn Nets. So they are going to be the worst team yet again, just like they are in real life. And then over in the West, the Spurs are going to be up on top this year, even though they're at the bottom last year. And the Lakers are going to be the worst team in the West. And checking out the standings, most points per game this year is going to be 23.7 by Calvert Walsh on the Warriors, who's a 77 overall. So players are a lot higher this year. We check out rosters real quick, front office rosters. Let's just go to all players. Top player in the league is going to be an 82 overall, and that is a rookie. We have another 80. So people getting a bit better in the second year. We're going to simulate the playoffs yet again. First year, we had the Grizzlies winning it all, and let's see who ends up winning it this time. Don't think it's going to be the Grizzlies. They do move on to the next round, though. And Cleveland is out. Grizzlies are out of the playoffs, so it's going to be somebody new winning it this year. Let's see who it's going to be. Spurs versus 76ers, and the Spurs are going to win the championship. So yet again, the Western Conference is the better conference. Neil Dillon, 81 overall, gets the Finals MVP right there. And we're going to go into the next season. We're going to do 3 more seasons simulating and see who wins there and how good people actually progress to be after that, if there's any star players. Okay, so we're at the end of yet another season, and Dion Foster is going to be the MVP. I think he got it last year. And then Rookie of the Year is going to be, of course, somebody different this time. CJ Harden, 6-man. Steven Banks, defensive player. Daniel Weber, most improved. And the Coach of the Year goes to the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to skip the All-NBA teams because we don't really know anybody on it. And then we're going to check out the standings yet again. This time in the East, the Celtics are the top team, and the Raptors are the worst team in the East. Over in the West, the Mavericks are the top team this time, and the Spurs aren't going to be making the playoffs despite them winning it last year, and the Grizzlies aren't in either. So we're going to have a new team yet again winning these playoffs. And let's check out the rosters yet again. All players, we have a 92 overall player, and we also have an 87, and this player has an overseas contract. That's kind of weird. They do too. And then our MVP is actually the 3rd highest player in the league. So we finally have a player over a 90, which is pretty crazy. Only 3 seasons in, and we're going to simulate the playoffs yet again, see who wins this 3rd season. Also, guys, if you want to see more of this, I can create it longer in another video. Just didn't want to make it too long in one video. Who is going to end up winning this? Looks like the Mavericks might end up taking it. It's the Nets and Mavericks, and the Mavericks take the championship. So the Western Conference has taken 3 championships in a row. Dion Foster is our MVP for the finals. He's been killing it. And we're going to advance to yet another season. Going to be doing 2 more seasons here. Seeing if maybe another team could win. See if we get some other players getting higher overall. It's turning into a true NBA now. Players are getting a lot better and stuff like that. Alright, so we're at the end of yet another season. We got the same MVP, Dion Foster. Yet again, a different rookie, of course. Ben McDaniel, 6-man. Steven Banks gets the Defensive Player of the Year yet again. Charlie Hollins, most improved. Doyle Cameron for the Dallas Mavericks gets Coach of the Year again. Looks like the Mavericks might end up winning it. Let's check out this roster, see who's the best players in the league. It's going to be the same guys last year. Jonathan Falks. I don't know how to exactly say that. And then our guy, the MVP, is still not the best player in the league, but highest overall. He has a super good 3-point, 86 overall, and we have 2 players over a 90 now, another one nearing it, and a bunch over an 80. Still not nearly as good as the NBA would be now, but let's check out the standings yet again, see who's on top and stuff like that. In the East, the Raptors are going to be the best team, and the worst team is going to be the 76ers. So every year it's like kind of the complete opposite with the rosters. And then in the West, the Mavericks are the best, and the Grizzlies are going to be the worst team. The NBA draft has a huge impact on how good teams actually do. So let's simulate the playoffs. This time, this is going to be our second last time. We're going to do 1 more after that to see how everybody is doing and who can actually win it. The Mavericks are going to move on from the first round. It looks like they moved on from the second round as well. Heat have been eliminated, and the Mavericks have been eliminated. So we're going to have a new champion. It's going to be the Houston Rockets beating out the Raptors in the NBA Finals. They do have Anders Svensson. I don't even know how to say that last name. He gets Finals MVP, 89 overall. So he was straight killing it. He did really good. Raptors barely losing there, and the West wins it yet again. This time a new team though. We've had, what, 4 different teams. We've had the Grizzlies, we've had the Spurs, we've had the Mavericks, and now we have the Rockets. Mavericks almost went back to back. But we're going to do one more season, see who can take it the last season, see if we have the same MVP for the, what will it be, the 4th time in a row, I believe now. Let's see what ends up happening and who wins it. We made it to the end of the final season of simulation. We finally have a different MVP. It's going to be Robert Cowan. I believe he was one of the, or no, this is actually going to be the Rookie of the Year as well. Ellis Tatum, 6-man. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Chase Glover. Different player there. Barry Stevens, Most Improved. And the Mavericks coach is going to be Coach of the Year yet again. So Mavericks might actually end up winning it. Let's check out the roster again, see who the top players are this year. We got a different player at the highest overall. Second best is who used to be at the top. We got Robert Cowan, who is the Rookie of the Year. I believe he actually played before. I don't know how he got into the Rookie. We have this guy again from the Rockets, Boyd Wright, and then Dion Foster is up to an 87, and this guy has the exact same name as this other one, which is kind of weird. They're generating the same names. Dion Foster for the Mavericks. They're supposed to be the best team yet again. Let's check out these standings. And in the conferences, the Bulls are on top of the East. They had the MVP. At the bottom of the East is going to be Cleveland, and the 76ers are there as well. And then in the West, it's going to be Mavericks up on top. We had the Rockets winning it last year. They're up there as well. Warriors are one of the top teams. And then down at the bottom are the Kings, Grizzlies, and Spurs are down there. So Grizzlies and Spurs both won a championship, and they're down at the bottom now. And let's see who's going to win this final season. Right here, we're just going to simulate through everything. Mavericks end up moving on. Rockets move on. Who's going to move on in the East? It's going to be Bulls. And the Rockets end up losing. And it's going to be Wizards going out. Mavericks get eliminated. It's going to be Bulls versus Clippers in the finals. And the Bulls take the championship. So finally, an Eastern Conference team wins the championship. Just like in the NBA now, the West is more stacked. Our league MVP goes to Robert Cowan, or our finals MVP. He also got the league MVP as well, though. So there you go, guys. We simulated 5 seasons with just completely new players, and it kind of turned out the same. There's a few teams that are pretty dominant that get to the title every year, but pretty much rookies are the huge difference right now. If a good rookie comes in, the team ends up being better. We have a bunch of players over a 90. I'm sure if we kept simulating, they would be up to a 99. They'd all have 99 potential, I believe. Let's go to the detailed view, and the potential, it still says an A+, which is kind of weird. So I guess that's around a 99. They probably all have that potential of getting close to 99. And there you go, guys. That's going to be it for this video. We did simulate just with random players, a bunch of different teams winning the championship, and no really repeats except for the Mavericks almost made it every year. The Rockets ended up getting a really good team, same with the Bulls at the end there. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on post notifications if you haven't already. This has been your boy Smequle, and I will see you next time. Peace. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. Yeah, in my bank account. Yeah, in my bank account.